Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Monday, the 31st of October, 2016. This is episode 200, Winter is Coming. So first, let's just say happy Halloween if you're celebrating, and happy Monday if you're not. How was your week? My week was really hectic. I went to Kentucky over the weekend, so that was a lot, because it always is. A lot of driving and seeing people and a whirlwind. The big event this week, though, is that we had someone come out to check out our furnace, and our furnace is shot. So we need a new furnace. Yay! New furnaces are expensive. So that's anti-exciting, but we have it figured out. We'll get it installed on Friday of this week because we have 5 kids living here. We can't not have a furnace. If it was just me, I'd be like, yes, we need to get a furnace, but we can probably wait just a little bit longer, and I will just snuggle under blankets and get a space heater and wait, but we can't wait with kids. So it was a little bit hectic scrambling over the weekend to try to figure out how we were going to fund that and everything. We finally figured out how to get a loan for it, and that's cool, but that means another bill that we have to pay every month. And so to help with that whole thing, the whole costs and everything, I am putting my patterns on sale. Not on sale. I'm having coupon code for my patterns for from now through the end of November. And the coupon code is keep warm, all one word, all in lowercase letters. It should be across the bottom of the screen right now, so that, we can take care of that and also be able to afford things like Christmas. Because with 5 kids, that can get expensive too. So obviously the furnace takes priority. But I mean, we had a not great Christmas last year. I would like to have a nice Christmas this year. So anyway, keep warm. That's going on. It's in the shop. So that sucked. That was a pretty awful Friday, but then the weekend was pretty good. Got to see people who I haven't seen in a month, so that was nice. I didn't do a ton of knitting though, so this is going to be knitting content light. The knit along is still going on, and that's hashtag BPHFOF16. It is the finish or frog knit along, so anything that you finish between October 1st and November 30th counts. And Shelly asked a question, and I didn't respond in the threads, but hopefully I'll remember to today. And it was about when things were started, I believe, and they could have been started forever ago. WIPs are highly encouraged. If you're entering something that was a WIP, though, take a picture of it before you finish, before you start working on it for the month, if you're picking up a UFO. So you have this is what it looked like before I started working on it for the knit along, and now this is what it looks like. But only if it was something that was started before October 1st. If it was started after October 1st, then it's only 1 entry. If it was started before October 1st, it's 2 entries. And if I just muddled that up and made that super confusing, say something in the thread, and I will make sure to actually respond in the thread this week. This is a really hectic week last week. Also content light because I'm recording a day early, but Tuesdays are no longer my days off. I no longer have a set day off, so I'm going to try to continue recording on Monday or Tuesday. It will depend completely on what my schedule is. I don't think that that's going to be a feasible thing this coming week, but maybe, because I'm pretty sure that next 7 days from now I'm working, and then 8 days from now I'm also working, but I can't remember for sure. So I'm still going to record weekly. It's just going to be a little sporadic. I apologize about that. what else? I guess it's on to the knitting. And I have a finished object and I'm wearing it. This is another Barley. So this is another modified Barley. It's knit out of chunky yarn. I will put in pictures because, yeah, you're not going to be able to see it because my backlighting is super terrible. Sorry. For this one, I cast on 38 stitches and then increased stitches in what is this? Garter stitch section. The Barley Hat is a free pattern by Tin Can Knits, and it is part of the Simple collection. So it uses very simple stitches. There's a ribbing section, and then the body of the hat is knit in two, like a pattern section and a non-pattern section, but the pattern section is just garter stitch in the round, and the non-pattern is stockinette stitch in the round. So it's a really, really simple pattern, really fast. This worked up in an evening. Yeah, a really, really nice pattern. I can see why Silly Fru has it as her go-to pattern, and it works up even faster in bulky yarn. I would say that knitting garter stitch in the round is probably not my favorite thing, but it's a percentage of the hat that's like just enough, and especially on bulky needles, it's not a lot of stitches that you have to purl. So it worked up really, really fast, and the yarn is gorgeous. You'll see that in the photos, or will have seen it in the photos, I guess. It is, again, Lion Brand Yarns, Hometown USA. I was showing you this yarn last week, and it is in the Vermont green color. So this is going to be my hat for at work. I have the back rolled a little bit because I have my hair in a ponytail, and it just wasn't sitting right with that. But it's pretty much the perfect length to fold down, keep the top of my neck from getting cold as the wind is hitting when I'm outside with the dogs. And I knit these on US size 11 needles, which are huge and kind of hurt my hands, but it wasn't bad, and I will probably make this hat again. It's one of those patterns that's totally deja cueable. And then I didn't work on a ton this week because it was really, really hectic around here. But I did work on my tube socks. So I'm actually knitting on those as I'm talking to you. So here is this one, and this is where I was last week. So I knit both color repeats that I needed to knit for the body of the sock, and this is how much yarn I have left over. I don't know that that's going to be enough to make a barn raising square, so I will probably start this in the center and then use the contrast gray color that I'm using for the outside of the barn raising square. So I'm using two colors on here. The toes and cuffs are Croy socks in the gray marl colorway, and then the body is Croy socks rag stripe in the blue rag colorway. So did a lot of work on this one. So this is the second sock, and I have 6 rounds to go until the bind off round. And here is the other sock. I pulled out that bind off and I knit up the cuff. So I ended up going with 25 rounds because I did 20 and I was like, well, that's not long enough. So then I moved my stitch marker to do 10 more, and I got to 25 and I was like, actually, I think that's perfect. I think if I go to 30, it will be too much. So 25, I haven't actually tried it on to see if that was a good call or not. So hopefully it is. I almost want to count this as a finished project because it's going to be finished by the time I finish editing. But maybe I'll talk about them next week. I can't promise because it will be finished. It will be bound off today. So maybe I'll talk about it next week, maybe not. If you see a finished picture right here, assume I'm not going to talk about it next week. I also worked on the bad nut, maybe. I don't know. Actually, I really think that I didn't. No, I did. I totally did because I moved the stitch marker after I talked to you last week. So I did this much on it. So not a lot at all. But I made some progress, just nothing really exciting to show you. So this is Bad Nut by Josh Ricks. It is knit out of Solar Flare fibers in the Jet Lagged Zombie colorway, which was Zombie Knit Apocalypse color for, what did I say last week? ZK14? I think so. US size 7. The other project that I guess is a noteworthy mention is the Hexapuff for Gabriel. I Kitchenered the top. Can't really move here. Okay, so I Kitchenered the top. It has, which is now the bottom. I stuffed it. It's a little bit lumpy right now, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be a dragon and it's just going to get lumpy. So it's fine. I didn't pick up the stitches or anything for it because I was knitting this hat with the needles that I need to pick up stitches. So maybe I'll start that this week. Maybe not. I'm going to have to pick up a different project because these socks are almost finished, but I don't know if it's going to be that one or it's probably going to be either the mittens or the rhombus socks. But I don't know because I really don't have time the rest of this week. We'll see. We'll see how much knitting I have. So part of the reason why I don't have knitting time is because I implemented something last week that I really kind of like. It just means that I lose out on some knitting time. The older boys, my 2 nephews, were having issues going to sleep in the evenings, which was causing issues waking up in the mornings. So I spoke with my sister and I was like, so I really think that all technology needs to just shut off at 7 p.m. because bedtime is at 8, which seems really early for 11-year-olds to me, but they weren't getting up in the morning, so we moved it back to 8. It was 9, and we rolled it back to 8:30, and then 8:15, and now it's at 8 o'clock. And I'm totally willing to move their bedtime to before the younger kids' bedtime if they can't get up in the mornings. There's no reason why I should have to be like, hey, get out of bed more than one time. One time should be enough. Anyway, rant over, sorry. So I implemented it last week. It's like all technology is off at 7 o'clock. Tablets need to be turned in for the night. TV's off. Video games off. And so from 7 to 8, what we've been doing is talking about our day. And I can knit during that part. But after we talk about our day, or before, depending on how we're feeling, I read with Gabriel and Mara for at least 20 minutes, usually more like 30 to 40. And I hold the books and they point at the words. So since I'm holding the books, I can't hold my knitting at the same time. So that's some time that I can't knit, but totally worth it. I really like the technology off at 7 thing. I really like really talking about their day and really like winding down with them. And then reading books is so cute. Okay, so more about that because my kids are so adorable. We were reading a book called Dinosaur Zoom. And it is, every page starts with a color word. It's like orange dinosaur is something. So Mara would read the color word because that's one of the first sight words from school. And she's really good about picking up words. So she knows dinosaur just from us reading. So she would say, orange dinosaur is, and then she would point at hurrying and say, okay, now it's Gabriel's turn. And so Gabriel would read hurrying, and then Mara would say hurrying to whatever the dinosaur was doing. And it was just really cute that it was a joint effort on their parts. And if for some reason Gabriel couldn't get a word, because there were a few words that were a little bit tricky to sound out, then I would jump in and be like, well, like he would try, and then I would say, it's this word. and he would go forward. So it's just really, really cute. I really, really like this whole reading time. We got out of that habit after moving, but now we need to get back into it because it's a really good habit to have. I'm sure I was talking about something knitting related though before I went off on that tangent. So I'm thinking I'm about to modular knitting. Does that sound right? I didn't do any mitered square this week because I'm going to make my mitered square out of what I'm making the barn raising square out of. I'm not going to show you this barn raising square next week again, even though it's only like half finished right now. It's close enough. You'll get to see the general idea. This is the Hedgehog Fibers in the Monsoon colorway. So this is going to be number 94. And so I worked on that a little bit. And then the mitered square, which I will show you next week, will also be out of this yarn. And I only did 2 hexapuffs this week. Not so great, but it's 2 more than were done last week. So I'm now up to 613. And that's what they look like. These are both yarns from Christina. So I'm working on it. I really wanted to do 1 a day and then just, I hate, I know I've said this before, but I hate when people I don't know come into my house. And the guy who came in to work on the furnace, he was really, really nice, not at all threatening, but I still couldn't sit still while he was here. Like, I cleaned the house so much because that's what I do when strangers are coming to my house. I clean. And since I didn't have to stop cleaning to entertain, I kept cleaning. So the house is really, really clean, but I was just really, really agitated. So that brings me to what I'm reading. Yeah, this is super short. I'm reading Bloodlines still by Rochelle Mead. I'm liking it a little bit better. No, I didn't even say that I didn't like it. I'm understanding a little bit more the world of the book, but I didn't read it very much because what I was actually reading for most of the weekend was Harley Quinn, something about Metropolis. I'll put the title down here. I got it from the library and then I left it in Kentucky, so that's super fun. I'm going to have that shipped back to me. Maybe. I'm going to see if I can renew it enough times so that I can just pick it up next time I'm in Kentucky. But if I can't renew it, then I'm going to have it shipped back to me. I'm really, really enjoying it. I love Harley Quinn. It's a graphic novel. Did I say that? I love graphic novels. I'm actually going to start reading one probably today because I picked up 2 when I went to the library. I didn't read any more Daughter of the Forest, I don't think. Maybe one night when I just couldn't find Bloodlines, but probably not. It's sitting right next to the chair where I sleep. So if I can't find Bloodlines really easily and I'm tired, I just read that instead. But I think that's all I have for you this week. Sorry it's really short. I think that's just how it always is, isn't it? Like I have a really, really long week and then the next week is really short recording. It doesn't matter. I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string. Definitely take advantage of that coupon code if you've been looking at any of my patterns. And it's good through the end of November. And I will see you guys next week when we have a furnace. Bye!